This is a read-along of the Get Along Gang and the Christmas Thief. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give a like, comment, and subscribe for more bookish and DVD review videos. If this video gets made for kids, I'll post a community post to post your comments there. But now, without further ado, let's begin the Get Along Gang and the Christmas Thief. The Get Along Gang and the Christmas Thief by Al Parker. Illustrated by Neil McFeeters. It was the day before Christmas. Snow was falling in Green Meadow. The Get Along Gang was at the clubhouse caboose, making final plans for their annual Christmas pageant. "All right, gang," said Montgomery Moose. "Let's go over the committee reports just to make sure that everything is all set for the pageant tonight. Wilma, you're first."
"I'm going to open the show with my Sugar Plum Fairy number and dance around Santa's sleigh. Then I'm going to curtsy like this, and like this, and like this."
"Boo!" shouted Rocco.
"Shh," said Dottie. "How rude he is," said Lolly.
"Everyone settle down," said Montgomery. "We'll run down the list of the cast quickly. If you have learned your part, just say yes. And no comments, please." "Santa?"
"Yes,"
said Rudyard. "Mrs. Santa?"
"Yes," said Dottie.
"The elf?"
"Yes,"
said Portia. "Santa's helpers?"
"Yes,"
said Lolly and Bingo. "Rudolph?"
"Montgomery, that's you," said Wilma. "Have you learned your lines?"
"Of course," said Montgomery. "Well, you don't have much to learn," said Zipper with a touch of envy. "There isn't much difference between a lead reindeer and a lead moose." Everyone laughed. Then Breaker Turtle stood up and cleared his throat.
"When the play is over, we are going to give the presents for the needy children. Then refreshments will be served. Lolly can tell you about them." "My father has donated candy canes and popcorn bowls for everyone," Lolly said.
"Good," said Montgomery. "What's happening with the costumes?" "They're in that box on the shelf. They're in that box on the shelf. I finished them yesterday," said Bernice. "We made a really great reindeer suit for you, Montgomery, but you have to bring your own antlers." Montgomery blushed.
He's going to be the most wonderful Rudolph ever," said Wilma.
And everyone laughed again. "Have I forgotten anything?" asked Montgomery. Portia raised her hand.
"You forgot my star. I made it out of silver foil for the top of the Christmas tree. It's in the chest with the presents."
Dottie was in charge of the presents. She opened the lid of the chest and said proudly, "I want to report that we have more presents this year than ever before. Everyone in town has donated something for the needy children. Just look."
"It looks like a whole lot of nothing to me,"
Rocco said. Dottie glared at him. "That isn't funny," she said.
"They are not nothing. They are beautiful presents." "No, I mean it," said Rocco. "There's nothing there."
Everyone looked in the chest. "Why, they're gone!" gasped Dottie. "How can that be? I just put the last presents in here before lunch." Bingo put out a note for the empty chest and read it aloud. It said, "I took the presents to the North Pole. Thanks for all your help, gang. See you on Christmas Eve. S. Claus." Everyone was horrified.
"Santa Claus wouldn't do that," said Portia. "I know he wouldn't. He brings presents from the North Pole, not to the North Pole."
"Portia's right," said Dottie. "I think someone has taken the presents."
"I bet you hit them, Rocco," said Bingo.
"I did not," Rocco shot back. "You probably bet them and lost." Montgomery called for order, but the gang was too excited to listen. "I'm going to tell Officer Growler," said Zipper, and in a flash he was out of the door. Bingo ran after him. Portia started to cry.
"Let's all go,"
said Rudyard. Good idea, said Montgomery. But first, let's look around here and see if anything else is missing. Officer Growler was not in the police station when Zipper and Bingo burst through the door. Instead, his nephew Barrymore Bloodhound was asleep on the desk. "Where's Officer Growler?" shouted Zipper.
He's not here,"
said Barrymore, putting his feet on the floor.
"He had to go someplace for an hour, so he made me his deputy. What can I do for you, boys?"
"You can wake up! The presents are missing!" said Bingo.
"Presents? What presents?"
yawned Barrymore. "The presents we were going to give to the orphans at the pageant tonight," said Bingo.
"They're not missing," said Barrymore. "They're with the reindeer who was just pulling them around in a cart."
Zipper and Bingo were surprised. "A reindeer?" they said.
"Yes," said Barrymore. "A reindeer with horns."
At that moment, the rest of the gang burst into the police station. Barrymore Bloodhound pointed his finger at Montgomery.
"There's the reindeer with the horns," he said. "He has the presents."
Montgomery was flabbergasted. "I don't have any presents," he said. "They've been stolen, and so have the costumes." Deputy Bloodhound kept his eyes on Montgomery.
"Facts are facts. A reindeer was sighted in Green Meadow, pulling a cart filled with presents. Who else in that town fits the description? Big feet, long nose, blown fur, and horns."
"You're wrong," said Bingo. "Montgomery wouldn't do such a thing." The rest of the gang shouted in agreement. "Listen to what he is saying," Dottie told the deputy. "Our costumes have been stolen, and that includes the reindeer costume." "Right," said Montgomery. "Someone is running around Green Meadow in my Christmas reindeer costume. And that someone is the Christmas thief." "What are we going to do? We don't have much time," said Wilma. "I think we need Officer Growler," cried Portia. Montgomery straightened his shoulders. "I'm going to find the thief and clear my name." "Which direction did he go?" asked Bernice.
Towards Gummyfoot Swamp," said Barrymore.
"Gummyfoot Swamp," said Bingo. "That's where Catchem Crocodile and his creepy sidekick Leland live." "Right," shouted the gang. "They stole our things." "We'll need evidence to prove it," said Montgomery grimly. "Bernice, you come with me and look for the crews. Together, we should be able to find them. The rest of you go back to the clubhouse and start making presents. I don't want any kids to be disappointed." "We'll do our best," said Dottie. The snow was falling faster and faster as Montgomery and Bernice headed towards Gummyfoot Swamp. "It will be hard to see," said Montgomery. "I have good eyes," said Bernice. To prove it, she pointed to a small tree. "Look, someone has ripped the branches off that pretty tree." Montgomery examined it carefully. He said. "It looks like the kind of thing Catchem Crocodile would do. But what would he want with a bunch of branches?" As they walked along, Bernice gave Montgomery instructions on how to scout. "You have to look up in the air and down on the ground," she said. Montgomery lifted his eyes to the sky. "Hey, what's that?" he said, pointing to a tree. Stuck in the branches was a silver star. To reach it, Bernice had to stand on Montgomery's shoulders. "That's the star Portia made," she said excitedly. "Catcher probably just threw it away, and it landed in that tree." She put it carefully in her pocket. "We're on the right track," said Montgomery. They hurried ahead. "Look there," shouted Bernice. "Another clue. A beautiful doll laid half buried in the snow." Montgomery picked it up and put it under his arm. Up ahead, they could see a light shining in a window. "That's Catchem's hideaway," said Montgomery. "Let's go." They ran quietly through the snow until they reached the house. Outside was the empty cart that Catchem had used. Bernice and Montgomery nodded silently to each other when they saw it and drew up to the window. Ketchum stood among the presents, admiring himself in the mirror. He was still dressed in the reindeer suit. He turned left, then right, and kept touching the antlers on his head. "Gee, boss, you look great in that costume," said Leland. "It was a good idea to use those branches as antlers."
"What a great Christmas this is," said Ketchum gleefully. "We have presents for the swamp rats, and we didn't spend a penny for them. The Get-Along Gang's Christmas pageant is ruined, and I am the perfect Rudolph."
"You sure are, boss," said Leland. "You should be playing the part. You look more like Rudolph than the moose could ever. Even if he was right in this room, I couldn't tell you which of you was the real Rudolph." Suddenly, the door flew open. "You're not Rudolph," said Montgomery. "You're nothing but a thief." Ketchum was so scared that he shook. His antlers fell to the floor.
"I just wanted presents for the swamp rats," he said. "We don't have money to buy any."
Yeah, stammered Leland from under the table. "That's no excuse," said Montgomery. "Lots of people don't have money and they don't steal. The swamp rats could have come to the pageant. We would have given them presents." Ketchum picked up the antlers.
"But I wanted to be Rudolph in the pageant," he whined.
"Take that reindeer suit off now," said Montgomery. "You're not going anywhere. And I'm warning you, you better try not to come to the pageant." Ketchum took off the costume. Then he and Leland watched. Bernice and Montgomery picked up all the presents and put them in a neat pile by the door. Bernice opened the door. "Oh, Montgomery, the snow is too deep. We'll never be able to pull the cart with all the presents in it." Montgomery thought for a minute. "I have an idea. We'll take Ketchum after all. He'll use his tail to brush a path for us, all the way to the Clough House." He looked at the gloomy Ketchum. "So get going." Bernice walked alongside when Montgomery pushed the cart through the snow, yelling, "Faster, Ketchum, faster!" The snow flew to the sides as Ketchum waved his tail back and forth. Dottie saw them first. "They're here," she shouted, and Ketchum was with them. "We found the thief, and the presents too," said Montgomery. The gang cheered. "Guess who the other reindeer was?" Everyone turned to Ketchum. "I'll watch him while the rest of you load up the other presents," said Tipper. The gang quickly put the presents in the cart. Rocco and Bingo carried out the Christmas tree, but the cart was so full that Montgomery couldn't pull it. "Let's push," said Rocco. "Together we can make it there." The gang got behind the cart. Ketchum took his place in front and began to clear a path with his tail. In no time, they arrived at the schoolhouse. Montgomery yelled, "We have 30 minutes to get ready." Rocco and Bingo put up the tree. Wilma and Flora hanged the decorations. Lolly strung lights around the room. Dottie put the chairs in neat rows. Breaker fastened a big wreath on the door. Zipper put raisins and nuts in a bowl. Even Ketchum and Leland helped. They started a fire in the fireplace. Everyone took the presents from the cart and put them under the tree. Suddenly, Portia began to cry. "My star! It's not here! You brought back everything except my star!" "I forgot," said Bernice. "It's in my pocket." She took out the star and handed it to Portia. Portia beamed as she hung it on the tree. Everyone changed into their costumes. From outside, they heard the sound of music, so they threw open the doors. The whole town was walking towards the schoolhouse, carrying candles and singing Christmas carols. "Merry Christmas!" shouted the Get-Along Gang, and Merry Christmas to you. Thanks for watching.